wow, I feel like I just got the secret to the McDonald's little money machines, and it's not a better hamburger. So kind of let me introduce what we're doing. We are in the chapter 3 of the book E-Myth, written by Michael Gerber. If you haven't checked out the introduction yet, my name is Jake Taylor. I'm the owner and founder of Curb Appeal Power Wash. We've been in business now for, golly, 8 years. Last year in 2023, we hit our first $1 million year, which is pretty darn exciting. Even featured in things like Cleaner Times magazines and a couple different awards. But enough about me. Why am I making these videos? Because I want to learn more. Because I learned that reading and learning makes you earn more too. So you're on the journey with me. So let's dive into this. Okay, Michael Gerber's chapter 3 on the subject of money. Okay. Oh, there's so many good things. I can't wait. My heart rate is racing. I'm excited. I feel like I got a secret here. This is really good. So he talks about the first thing is on the subject of money. Why is it that a lot of us kind of shy away from talking about money? Or I might even argue, why do some of us kind of inflate what we're doing in money? Yeah, we're doing all these things. Like I talked about what our sales were, but the really thing comes down to it is how profitable is it, okay? Well, this one isn't just about profit, this chapter. This is about the subject of money, which is pretty darn cool. So a lot of us as contractors or owners may talk about money as far as things that we need to purchase, need to pay our employees, need for growth. But it seems like we really talk about it, we don't have it anymore. So let's kind of first talk about the 4 types of money here. Now, what's interesting is he makes actually a funny warning here, and it says, don't talk to your accountant about this. As the other book we just read with Simple Numbers, Big Profits, accountants talk a little different and see things a little different. It says, do not talk to your accountants or bookkeepers about what follows. It will only confuse you. So this is really going to be the way we can think about money as the business owners. Okay, so the 4 kinds of money we talk about is income, profit, flow, and equity. So the first type when he talks about is income. Okay, income, this is what the technicians or the people make by, he says, doing the thing. Okay, so whatever you do to make income, this is the pay the employee gets. Okay, this is the most important thing to them, by the way. This is why they're working for you, or this is why if you're in a job right now and you don't have employees, you do something kind of on the side, this is the thing that matters to you. This is what you take home as the employee, right? So the employee wants to get paid. However, as a business owner, sometimes it's not my most important thing. I got other things to think about. I got shop rent. I got insurance payments. I got to buy something. I got repairs. I don't want to be bugged with now the employee wants to get paid. What about me, right? As a business owner, so income, understand the most important thing to the employee. Sometimes the least important thing, though, to the business owner. The next kind of money is profit. This is interesting. Okay, so profit this is very simple, which is why I love it, okay? I'm a simple person. My name is 1 syllable, right? Jake. Profit talks about is your business did something right, and after all your expenses, something was left over. Now, he actually wrote this in here. You need to draw the difference between accidental and planned. Sometimes we can accidentally make a profit, but the biggest part is planning that we can duplicate that and do it over and over again. So profit just means that something was done right during the preceding period in which profit was earned. Okay, so here's the interesting part. He also thought the profit is the purpose of your business. The business's purpose is to be profitable, right? Not to be confused with your I'm going to read it. Your purpose. Excuse me. Not to be confused with your own individual purpose, but your business perfect. Your business's purpose. This is kind of interesting. So the purpose of my business is to make a profit. Okay, that's how I understand profit dollars now, right? The next type, the third type of money is flow or cash flow. I dropped my book. The third type is flow or cash flow, okay? So this is the interesting part is cash flow is what money does, not what it is. What the money does in your business. And it's interesting enough is cash flow just keeps kind of flowing around. The book talked about, it's kind of like a pinball in your business, kind of goes here and there. And you need to understand how money moves in your business. You need to know where it is and where it will be when you need it. This is interesting enough. I also pointed out you can actually make a profit and not have Any cash flow. You can also, if you don't have the money, you can borrow it. But what he says is the most expensive type of money is the money you have to borrow. So our purpose here in this is to understand how cash flow works. I think I wrote down a few examples here too. Some of the things that we understand in our cash flow is, and just because I maybe learned a few things from doing a few things, is we need to understand what that means as far as cash flow. So when our people do the thing, or whatever service we provide, I have a little cut on my finger, hope that green isn't distracting you. When we do the thing to do the service or sell the product, that brings in money, okay? We can look at that money in our account and go on, I've got money to spend. But understanding then the money coming out of your business and the money coming in your business, okay? Let me pick up my book here. Because those are the different types of cash flow we got to be watching out. So I'm going to get back on track here before we get off track, okay? So, rules of cash flow. This is kind of interesting here. Oh, got some great examples I put down. Rules of cash flow is, we have this thing called an income statement. I'm kind of talking about some accounting terms here, but this is kind of for you to understand what these things are. The income statement is kind of a snapshot of what you just did, okay? But cash flow is really more of a moving picture, not just a single snapshot. And so he talks about what you really want to know is, know this daily, because if you end up looking at it monthly, it could be too late. Here's some examples. Say you did a project. We just did a really cool Christmas light display in our local mall. Super exciting. It's like $45,000. What was interesting enough is that if you look at the check that comes in your account, like, holy moly, this is great. But if you owe to the vendors for all your supplies, you could be sending out a check for $25,000, okay? So all of a sudden going, I don't have all this cash. It's not all profit. Understand that as your business receives money, money goes out. And how do I manage those two kind of things is actually how I can make more profit. So one way we do that is we call it, it came to the term of a sales stew. Now I know you're like, oh wow, big surprise. Jake likes talking about food. Our sales stew helped me get out of a major bind. Okay, here's a little story of how this happened. When we first started our company, I think this was year 2, we started cleaning parks and playgrounds. One of my most favorite things to clean is actually my son's idea to say, Dad, we should keep these playgrounds clean because they're dirty and nasty. Oddly enough, most people don't clean playgrounds, and so we started a service doing that. This is where it gets to the problem. So I started cleaning playground. Actually, I had to get approval to clean a playground first. You don't just go clean some random playground. So we got hired to clean a few playgrounds, and we had to use special soaps and things like graffiti remover to clean these things up. And it was just me out doing it. Problem was, I didn't actually have the machine to clean it. I rented one from somebody who had a hot water unit and a big water tank because there's not really a lot of water on site these playgrounds. So I had costs every single day. And then the graffiti remover I was using is still the best out there, but it was like $90 a gallon. Okay, so I started basically revitalizing these playgrounds. It was great. They're loving it. Our community was enjoying it. My costs got so high, and then I wasn't getting paid for like 30 to 45 days. So you know what happened is I got the job, I serviced it, and then I could not service anymore because I ran out of cash. So I had to wait till I got paid, money came back in, I could do it again. So that created a lot of cycles in our company. So as we kind of grew and had more employees, that cash seemed to go out quicker, because we had more expenses. So understanding the money coming out of your business is also important to look at, not just the money coming into it. So we created what's called a sales stew. We don't just do all jobs that are big jobs first, okay? So if you're into commercial work, you can understand a lot of times commercial work won't pay you right away. 30, 40, 60, 90 days. You need to understand when that pay is going to be so you can plan for where your cash is going to be in your own account, okay? We do this through a budget. I'll kind of cover more about that, but I'll get back on track. So with our sales stew, we understand that certain jobs, like for us, when we do residential cleaning, we get paid right away. And that was by design, okay? I could leave them an invoice saying, thank you, please pay us here soon. So we had to become more intentional because we had this cash flow crunch. Actually, one of my coaches and mentors, Josh Taylor, he's the one who taught me this, is to charge deposits when you're doing jobs. Not all commercial jobs will agree to a deposit, but a lot will. and residential, they're pretty used to that now. So what we do is that when we solve a need for a customer and they buy our service, we ask them for a certain percent down, and then the rest after happy completion of the job. So sometimes different states have different laws to know how much you can charge down. We are able to charge 50% down and the rest when they're done for residential. And that really helped us out because that 50% down covers the cost of doing the service. Okay, that covers, so the cost of goods sold is also called cost of doing service, covers the technician wages, the fuel for our machines and the fuel to our truck to get there. It also covers well, those are the main things, actually. Fuel, technician wages, and our soaps and supplies to do that as well. Now, if we take a credit card, which a card on file there has a charge for that, we include that in my cost of goods sold, also known as COGS, because it is a cost that I have to pay every time I do the thing or the service that makes this money. So basically all my costs are paid up front on the deposit, and the last half of it is your gross profit, but then all your expenses kind of come out of that. I know, little math techie there, but what we found out is we mix in some residential with a bigger commercial, mix in those jobs that pay right away versus in with the jobs that pay a little bit later. And so that way we manage our cash flow. And how I can look at that is through one of our budgets. Sometime I'll need to share this with you to kind of see that. So my budget is, as the owner, is I want to know how much cash I have in my account. Okay, that's not the best way to run your company, but it is kind of the bottom line. And I don't just make a decision based on looking at my checking account. I'm talking about I'm projecting what that's going to look like in the future. Because here in the Midwest, we have a lot of seasons, and so I need to understand that, like, if we're in winter, like we are right now, work is slower because it's too cold to wash or to use water. And then when spring hits, everyone's spring cleaning, and we have more services we're selling, and then more cash flow starts. So I need to look at, this is what you need to look at as well, do I have enough in my savings to get to these seasons? And so in doing so, you'll see how your money comes out through your cash flow, and you see your kind of account balance goes down. I can project out what my bank account's going to look like 12 months down the line, so I can see where my cash problem is going to be and how I can fix it. That's just a little tidbit there. Let's kind of get back on track here. So that's the part of cash flow. Okay, one way to think about it is, someone explained to me, is it's like your business is a little bucket, right? And you're pouring things into it. You're pouring money into it, and there's a hole in your bucket, and that's the money coming out of it. And so if you want to have more in the bucket, make that hole smaller. Less expenses, okay, will make you more profitable, more in the bucket or in your account. It's a very simple way to think about it. And one thing I put down here as a note is, what can I be doing better on, more effectively, or even stop? We had services that we found out that weren't actually profitable. And so we found out by stopping those services, we actually made more money because we lost less money. So those are some things to evaluate in this. Back on track, I'm super excited. The fourth kind of money is equity. This one stumped me. I didn't quite understand what it meant, but wait to hear this, you're going to be excited. Fourth part is equity, the value of your business to a buyer. Now you're going, well, I don't know if I ever want to sell my company. Well, this could be the value to your business, to your family. Or if you're to pass away, now they have a value on your business, so they know if they can afford to keep it going or if they sell it themselves. So this is interesting. This is, your business is the most important product, not your services. Because the equity you're earning as the owner is the value of your business. So it's the ability to produce an income, profit, cash flow, and equity. If you can do that better than other businesses, this is how your business is worth more. So the interesting is as we are running our business and building these systems, we can hit different milestones, for sales and profitability. Then your business becomes worth more. Why? Because it's designed to do this. It can do it predictably to produce income, profit, cash flow, and equity better than any other business. And here's the example the book uses. My favorite, I talked about earlier, McDonald's. Why do I go to McDonald's? It's not because I'm going for the best burger. It's because I know what I'm going to get every single time, and it's convenient all around me. Why do people own a McDonald's? Well, let's talk about a great story I suggest you get in the book and read it yourself. Ray Kroc called it his little money machines. Little money machines. That's really interesting, because here you thought maybe McDonald's was in the business of selling hamburgers, or some people say, well, maybe it's in the business of owning real estate. Different topic. He didn't cover that here, but what he referred to in his mind, the business was this little cash machine, which the hamburger wasn't his product, but McDonald's was. Because he had so much passion into knowing all the different specs of his food, from how big the patty was, to how round it was, how much moisture you need to go in the french fry to get that perfect kind of french fry versus soggy versus hard, and all those kind of things. He produced these systems that produce the income, the profit, the cash flow, and the equity. And then the business owners wanted to own it because it was duplicatable, and I can do the same thing and I get the same results. Or I would say, if you make a Big Mac the way you're supposed to make a Big Mac and use the Big Mac sauce, you get Big Mac money. It's simple analogy right there. So he's now in this chapter, he talks about, how do I do this? Well, this talks about going to work on your business rather than in it. We've all heard that. What does that mean? It talks about when you're working on your business, you are now focused on building integrated systems that deliver exactly what you promised every time, no matter who's doing it. That is working on a business, okay? So you talk about, this is an interesting point, and I feel like I had to get a new highlighter. I had so many great things. I think I highlighted more than just that's non-highlighted. That's why I love this chapter so much. The value of your equity is directly proportional to how well your business works. The value of equity is directly proportional to how your business works. And how your business works is directly proportional to how effective the systems you have in place, which is how your business operates. So the value of our company is how well does it do what it's supposed to do. Remember, its purpose was to make profit. How well it does that. And then I asked the question myself, am I working for income or for equity? Well, let me kind of go into that further. And he puts a big question here. Am I filling employee shoes, or am I filling the owner's shoes? That's kind of the distinction between working in your business, employee, and on the business as the owner. If I'm working on the business, I am hopefully improving the business's equity. So here's a little fun little snippet. There's a thing, I won't go into much detail, I'm going to really sidetrack. How much your business is worth depends on how profitable it is. And there's a little thing called multiples in there. When you're at, say, a 20 to 25% profit rate, your buyout of your company could be 2, 3, 4, 5 times, or even up to 10 times of the profit. So you could be doing $1 million, your business could sell for $2 million, depends on how profitable it is. Or you could be doing $1 million and your business could sell for a couple $100,000, depending on how profitable it is. So that's the purpose of the business, make profit, and that's what we do as an owner. He talked about, here's the process. Ready? I'm going to finish this up. Holy cow, we're moving on time here. As the key employee, which we are as the owner, and I thought this is like, as the Neo to your Matrix, you design your own reality, right? Determine the most effective way to do your job. Whether it be how I started out is I was the one doing the washing, I was the one doing the sales, I was the one doing the billing, I was doing the marketing. I did all of that. The first step is determine the most effective way to do your job, okay? Document it. This is step one here. Draw your system for your position. What does I want this position to do? For me, it was a wash technician. What service did I want to provide to our customers? How did I want to do that? I had to draw that all out. And sometimes I couldn't think about it because I was doing it. I actually had to film myself doing it so later on I can make notes. Or I can film myself doing it, explaining why I'm doing it, which creates my system to train the next employee, which is the next step. You create a plan to replace you. Okay? Remember, if you're in the employee's shoes, you're not able to be in the owner's shoes as much. So if you're working for income, which is the most important thing to the technician, to the paycheck, versus working on the profit or the equity of the business, the bigger payday, okay? So write a plan to replace you, whatever position you're doing. Watch the new employee manage your system. So now I'm replacing it. Hey, here's my system. I learned it. Now you do it, right? Not you as in you in the camera, but you as the next employee. And then I watch them do it and I make improvements to it. This is why maybe something I did was so simple to me because it's the way I've been taught my whole life. And this person doesn't have that whole life experience in there to do the same way. So you're making the simple improvements, okay? Then, once you have you replaced in that, you go on to the next section in your company. And you just kind of keep doing it. And that's how you create these systems. You, as a business owner, the visionary, you duplicate the process throughout your company. And then, the question, number 2 I put down is, learn to see if you're doing an employee work or owner's work. So throughout your day, if you're going, I feel like I'm really doing employees' shoes until I can afford to hire one, well, that's part of when can I afford to hire one. Well, I will know that thinking as a business owner, because then I'll know my company's valuable more. Maybe I need to charge more. Maybe I need to spend less. Maybe my bucket needs to be bigger. Maybe the hole needs to be smaller. So I hope that helps out there. That's on chapter 3. The next we're going to talk about chapter 4 is Ken Goodrich's experience in that. And if you haven't heard of him, this is a guy who does a lot of HVAC, which this one's kind of written more towards that, but there wasn't a book for pressure washing. And he went on to fail a few times and then become highly successful and runs a company that does over $100 million a year in revenue. So I love hearing his insights on these things. So stay tuned for the next time. I'm going to talk about the E-Myth written by Michael Gerber. See you soon.